Yeah, that's on. Am I live? Check on there. Does this not come up? Technicals. It's so crazy because I'm like, oh, it is live. Okay. Okay, guys. So sorry about the delay, guys. I have literally just been having the most technical difficulties ever. Okay. But welcome to every single one of you who are here on this live stream. It's actually my first YouTube live stream, guys. So do bear with me, okay? I have never done a YouTube live stream. So if there's any kind of slight glitches, just bear with me. But thank you for joining me today. We are going to be breaking down the Ready to Love reunion. And if you're new here and you have never heard of this series or you've never watched this show, don't worry, there are loads of videos on my channel, so you can always catch up and have a look at some of the participants we're going to be talking about today. If you have already been journeying with me, watching this Ready to Love series and been enjoying the content and the videos, then just put yourself in the chat box. Tell me where you're actually streaming and connecting to this live stream from. I'm in England. As you probably noticed, I've got a British accent. I'm born and bred in London. Someone left me a comment the other day saying, where are you from? I'm like, I'm born and bred in London, proper Londoner, Southeast London to be exact. So yeah, drop me a comment in the, I guess the comment box, and let me know where you're calling in from. Oh, someone said, I'm so excited for this one. Yay, we are live, guys. I am going to do my very best to manage this stream somehow by myself. Hopefully we can make this as interactive as possible. So yeah, make sure you just drop some comments in the comment box. I will definitely do some shout outs, and yeah, just say thank you to everyone who has been watching the videos, been enjoying the different characters and participants of this show. And now we are going to break it down, because yesterday I caught up with the reunion part 1. And if you've enjoyed the reunion part 1, just drop a number 1 in the chat box. Let me know who your favorite participant has been on this show. And if you have not watched this show, again, you can check out loads of videos on my channel, which we've been breaking down different aspects of things we've been noticing in these relationships as they've been trying to date each other and get to know one another. So someone said, oh, la femme allure. Oh, nice. She says it's crazy. Just watch the first part of the reunion. She says it's rubbish. Okay. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. Some people have not enjoyed it. Some people thought it was a real disappointment, especially because there was new bits of information that we saw that was not revealed to us. If you've been watching this season, there's loads of little bits that were missing. So it was really hard when we saw it today or yesterday, if you watched it yesterday, to kind of make sense of some of the things that came out. So we're going to touch base. And I think just let me know in the comments who you want me to start with. Now, the key people that I want to talk about tonight is definitely our girl, Denise. We're going to be talking about Denise. We're going to be talking about Jay. We're going to be talking about Joy. We're going to be talking about Symone. And we're going to be talking about Wynter and Anthony. Those are the key people that I really want to touch base with today. So let me know who you would like me to start with. And I think the first few people, as many names as we get, I'll start with one of those. Pam with the bad hair says, I can't wait to hear your opinion. Thank you, Pam. It's lovely to have you on the live. Pam, you have left comments on the channel. I really do appreciate it. Each and every one of you, it really does make the process of putting out new content even more enjoyable. And I do read all the comments. I try and get back to people as much as possible, but there are so many of you that I will be getting back to, because I saw some new comments and I was like, right, I'm going to go away and make sure I respond. So it's lovely to have you on live. I think, okay, La Femme Allure says, let's kick off with Jay and Joy. So as you are the first to put the name in, let's do Jay and Joy. So I'm going to try and do a screen share, guys. and hopefully this will all work. So just give me 1 second. And I'm just going to put up the face of the people we're going to talk about so that we can, for anyone who's joining the live right now, you can kind of track along and see who we're talking about now. And I am just going to work out how to do that. So give me 1 second. The thing is guys, I'm actually trying to run this live by myself. And when you're doing the most right now, because I'm like, I am not a technically savvy individual. Yes. Okay, guys. So I've just kind of shared my screen. All right. So these are the couples that we are going to be talking about today. I think these are some really good individuals and couples to talk about. Now, we have been on my channel. If you're new to me, I pretty much talk about healthy relationships. That is what I really talk about all day long on my channel. I do videos each and every week. So I always kind of just break down different aspects of what we see in some of these shows, and we talk about it. All right. So if you are interested in healthy relationships, if you want advice or tips, or you just want to join our community, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and let's get into this. All right. So let's go with Jay and Joy. All right. So Jay, this week has been so interesting because Jay is a smooth kind of guy. And I personally think he's very handsome. I don't know if anyone disagrees or agrees with me, but I do think Jay has this kind of really nice handsomeness to him. He's got that smooth complexion. He's got that whole swag. He's just well put together. Now, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. But if you do agree with me, just put a J in the chat box and let me know if you're a fan of Jay, because I do think he is quite attractive physically. And I can see why many women would be drawn to Jay. All right. He has that kind of appeal, which is quite, it's almost mysterious. Like you don't get all of him, but you get some of him and you want more. So I can see how his appeal would definitely appeal to many of the women on the show, as we saw. And Pam says Jay is handsome but short. Yes, he does kind of look semi-short. Now, I'm not sure. Someone mentioned 5'2" the other day, and I was like, yikes. I mean, that is quite short. But I guess, it's not only about height. And for some people, height does not matter. For some people, it really does. So, yeah. So someone said, I think Anthony is very immature. Don't worry, Jaden. We are going to be getting onto Anthony because Anthony's just he's a whole nother thing. All right. So don't worry. Stay tuned because I have got a little bit to do on Anthony and Wynter today. But as we talk about Jay, so Jay is quite a smooth guy, okay? He definitely has that appeal to women. He's handsome, he's attractive, he's quite articulate. So that is another way that it kind of often draws women in. But what we saw today was, or yesterday, was quite interesting in the reunion because he just didn't look confident or comfortable. And I don't know how you lot felt, but I felt like he just looked semi-awkward all day in that chair in the reunion. And I literally was watching him and his body language and I was thinking, what is going on? But we're going to dig into this more. So with Jay, I see that obviously the interest was definitely with Joy. He was interested in Joy and he was interested in Wynter. But then we obviously saw that he had some slight, or Symone believed that he had some connection with her. And I think the nice thing that we were able to see is that I think for the women, Symone felt like I think the women felt that Symone had made it up almost like, yeah, sure, Jay's into you. But obviously these unseen clips now show that actually Jay was spitting some bars to Symone. He was definitely being that kind of smooth guy. So obviously the way the show portrayed Jay and his connection with Symone wasn't obviously what we came away with thinking there was anything there. But from the reunion, we see that there was some sort of interest that Jay showed. Now, the problem I had with this is that Jay, he just came across at this very last bit of this show to kind of be like he was in that player mode, although he didn't appear like that throughout the season. And I think you could see in Joy's face just the disappointment. Like she kept it together. And I think that's the kind of classy nature of Joy. Like she's not going to kind of fully lose it, but you could see there was a disappointment. And I think, let me just read some of the comments. So May T J says, Jay knew he was going to be confronted. He was putting on a facade and acts like the good guy. So Jaden says he's a snake. Yeah, no, lots of people came away feeling like, hold on, Jay played us all almost, because the show really portrayed him to be a very like respectable, kept it kind of 100 with Joy and with Wynter. But actually at night, in the dead of the night, there was a lot of activity going on that we weren't aware of. And unfortunately, I think for Joy to kind of be right there in the scene of the reunion and be watching it as we're watching it, seeing that actually there was this whole nother nighttime fandangle with Wynter was just uncomfortable. It didn't do him a good service. It didn't portray him in a good light, but it also, in my opinion, did not portray Wynter in a good light. And I have no I have no preference over any of these people. I just have enjoyed the show. But what I kind of took away was I saw Wynter almost feeling quite like rejoiced at the fact that, yes, now people can see how much me and Jay had this connection. But in my opinion, I just felt like it didn't do her a justice. Like it didn't represent her very well. And I think Wynter is a beautiful woman. I think she definitely, exudes that femininity in some ways, although for some people it's a bit too much, maybe. But I think seeing Wynter kind of creeping down the male hallway, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever time in the morning, in the early hours, in my opinion, just didn't do her justice. I felt like it looked a little bit like, this is how so many times, ladies, we can almost position ourselves to be like the side chick. And that's a dangerous place to be if you are trying to kind of show yourself as this kind of respectable, mature woman who's looking for something a little, because sometimes if you're only getting that quality time in the dead of the night with the guy, you can kind of end up just becoming that nighttime thing and you're not the daytime thing. And that is where I think, unfortunately, Jay and Wynter in that way, they built that connection in the dead of night where no one else was seeing it. So for Joy, she was obviously taken aback, but it was almost like, hold on. I didn't think that Wynter was smiling and looking like she kind of was like, yeah, Jay, I'm letting them know what we had. But I just didn't feel like it did her any good. It didn't look very tasteful, just like creeping down the hallway, running back from the hallway. Like, I just felt like, okay, if I was a lady of that age and the guy I'm interested in is only kind of having these deep conversations predominantly at nighttime where no one's around, like that is not a good position, I think, to put yourself in if you are trying to look for something more serious and more mature with that guy. So in some ways, I just felt like, hold up, I don't know if Wynter kind of made herself look as classy as she could have, that way. All right, so let me just have a look at the comments. Someone said, Symone is fake. Okay, as if, yep. She was giving him that. She was giving him what Joy was not. Okay, so La Femela says, and I'm guessing this is in relation to Wynter. She was giving him what Joy was not. She was literally giving up the cookies when he kept telling her he is feeling joy. And this is the problem, ladies, I think, because sometimes we end up just really, we like someone so much that we're always willing to kind of compromise sometimes ourselves. And sometimes that's our heart. And I think in some ways, Wynter really did build a proper connection or an interest in Jay. And unfortunately, it wasn't mutual. I think Jay just enjoyed whatever nighttime fun, conversations, or anything that was happening. but wasn't willing to really make her the prime priority in the daylight. And that for me just is kind of like where you can just leave yourself with an unnecessary heartbreak, because you can see that if in the daytime he's still talking to you, but he's a bit more distant, he's a bit more reserved, he's almost treating you like you didn't just have those deep conversations the night before, it's just a good indication that this guy is not that into you and he's not that serious about you. Because a serious guy is going to be showing you and parading you all day long in the daylight, which he was doing more so with Joy. And I'm not saying that he didn't spend time with Wynter, but I just felt like if Wynter was having all these deep, close connections with Jay in the nighttime and it wasn't kind of moving over predominantly into the daytime, you're kind of leaving yourself open to potentially having a heartbreak or being used. That's how I see it. So, thank you for the comments, guys. Someone said, Jaden said, Sherna, what do you think about Jay leaving after Joy? Do you think he did it because he was genuine or because he saw the moment to take advantage of Joy? Good question. I actually think Jay had more interest in Joy. Truly. I think he actually respects her. She carried herself pretty consistent throughout this season with a kind of classiness. There's a quiet elegance to Joy, and she's got that fun element. There's different aspects to her, but I think he definitely had more interest, and he would probably not have been, I guess in some ways, I don't think he was as interested in Wynter to kind of stay in the process. I think his heart was much more with Joy. I think his interest, maybe not his heart, but his interest was definitely much more in Joy. And I think when you see someone who you kind of do very much like, and then they have such a significant thing like a death of their sister, it kind of is that kind of moment where you either have to step up and show yourself to be a pretty decent guy, because I think if he had stayed and then suddenly been entertaining Wynter even more than what we'd seen, obviously, from the clips, I think it would have just made him look like a piece of trash, in all fairness. Like, I would not have respected Jay at all. I think everybody would have been like, this guy is the worst thing on earth, like in terms of just the decency. So I think in some ways his hands were kind of tied. He had no choice. He had to go, because in all fairness, how can the woman you say you're actually interested in experience that kind of, loss and death of a sister, and you still be here saying shoulda, woulda, couldas and sweet things in another woman's ear? I don't think any of us would have respected Jay. So I think in some ways he had to go. It was just not even really an option for him. Let's have a look through the comments. Guys, I should have really worn my glasses today. I was playing myself because I'm here pretending like I don't wear glasses, and I do. So if you see me squinting, it is just because I have not got my glasses. Okay. La Feminine Allure says he was consistent with Joy. He was. Yes, he likes the chase. I think you're right. I think Jay is he's smooth. He knows how women will definitely be attracted to him, and he knows how to carry himself, and that does breed curiosity, breeds interest with us women. So he definitely was always going to be in that sort of top pick for most women. I think the issue I had was the fact that Jay, not only did he look uncomfortable throughout the reunion, he looked like he just got caught, and it was blatant. Like, he obviously was, saying something to Wynter that was making Wynter really feel this deeper connection. But of course, he was emotionally in some ways unavailable. He had already made his pick, and that pick was Joy. And I think he was pretty consistent throughout. Now, as I said, if you are a woman who the guy is pretty much spending only nighttime hours with you, this is a red flag if you are trying to really think about this person as a suitable long-term potential partner. If he doesn't want to bring you out in the daylight, doesn't want to kind of make everyone else know just how much he's into you. And I'm not saying that Jay didn't do this. I know he had dates with Wynter, and I know that they spent time in the daylight. But if predominantly you are having your best moments, your best connections in the night only, and it's all kind of undercover hidden, you probably need to think twice about if you're going to continue that. And I think Wynter said this in the reunion. She was kind of like, you know what? I'm not sure I would have stuck around as long as I did. And it's the truth, because it was pretty obvious he was not going to pick her. And unfortunately, this is where we end up seeing that she kind of built this connection. Oh, my fiance just brought my glasses, guys. Thank God. Thanks, babe. This is where we see that she kind of moved over to really trying to focus on her connection with Anthony, which, guys, we are going to get to, because Lord knows that is a whole nother problem. So let me just check the chat. So, oh yeah, Joy is pissed. You could tell by the way she glared at John. Jay, yeah, guys, did you see the body language between them both? I was literally like, hold on. The seat, the big piece, the sofa was huge, okay? And then you've got Jay right up close to Tommy, and then you've got Joy on the outside of him. And generally speaking, normally you put the woman on the inside and you normally put the man on the outside, just generally speaking. And I know probably the cast put them where they're sitting and everything else, but generally speaking, that is normally how it normally goes. And you saw that on the other side, Wynter was on the inside, and there was a guy, Anthony or whoever else was sitting with her, was on the outside. So one, he was there, but then there was this gap between them. And I was thinking today, guys, to actually show actual images, but Lord knows, with all the technical difficulties we've had, I didn't have time to get the screenshots. But if you go back and watch the actual episode, you'll see this gap between Jay and Joy. And when Joy became really upset with her, when they started talking about the loss of her sister, you can see like Jay goes to put his arm around the chair, although I thought he was going to put it around her, and she actually leans away from him. Now, guys, I was like, it was quick, but I don't know if anyone else literally saw this, but I was like, hold up, what is going on? Because, you know, our body language pretty much communicates much more than sometimes our own mouths. And if you watch it, and again, guys, if you haven't seen this, you can literally go, I probably put the link in this, in the description box once I upload this, but you can go back and see, like, there is a big gap between them. And generally, if you're kind of vibing with that person, you normally are a little bit closer. There's a little bit more comfortability between them. But Joy was stiff. I was like, yo, Joy, what's happened? But there was a gap. And then when he did the stretch with his arm to almost offer that kind of comfort in that moment, she actually wiped her eye, but she leaned away from him. So I definitely came away thinking either they're not in a good place with each other, something might have gone down that day, maybe they just were in a funny vibe, but the vibe I picked up from this was like, no, Jay and Joy, something's going on here. So let me know in the comments below, do you think that they are actually a couple? And do you think that they are... Did you come away thinking that they were in a good space? Because I really came away thinking there is problems in this, like something is happening. There was just not this kind of natural connection between them. It was kind of like a distance. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. Okay, yep, La Feminine Allure says, I don't think they are actually a couple, okay. Shahadia. I hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly, but I am also on the edge of my seat because the teaser made it seem like Joy may be pregnant. Lord, okay, guys, I am not trying to get any copyright or, issues. This is all allegedly, right? Okay. All right, I don't know about the pregnancy bit, but okay, let's look out for it. Maybe that was the bit. Was that the teaser when they were referring it to Alicia? Because I know I watched that teaser last week and I was thinking, oh my God, is that Joy or is that Alicia somewhere behind? But anyway, all right. I don't think Jay and Joy Okay, Jaden says, I don't think Joy and Jay are good. There was no chemistry. Plus, she was talking in past tense about him being there for her. Yes, Jaden, love it. I also picked up on that, and I was thinking, because she was like, I really did appreciate that, you know, he was there for me in that moment, you know, in terms of the funeral service. And I was just like, okay, something is over between them. Like, it just feels, yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. I really am, because there's a lot there that I think wasn't yet said, but it kind of alluded to there's problems in that couple, potentially. All right, so let's talk about Symone just very quickly so that we can almost wrap this couple up. So who thought that Symone's behavior in this episode was pretty hectic? I mean, I know Symone. I think she's a beautiful woman. And it was clear that she really did want to kind of clarify that, look, my interest in Jay was a mutual interest. Like, Jay was definitely giving her some sort of signs or indication that, you know, he was feeling her. But I think obviously with the other women, they didn't see it. They obviously didn't see this. So when we saw these extra clips, you saw the vindication. But I felt like the way she came at Joy was just like, damn, it was unnecessary. I mean, guys, tell me if you thought it was a bit too harsh. I was really shocked. I almost was like, okay, is it necessary to come at her that strong? I know, you know, she obviously felt a bit upset about maybe the way in which Joy might have delivered this information to Wynter about what she said about Jay going into her room. But guys, I was literally like, damn, it was crazy. And then the crazy bit was she became so emotional. Then she walks to the back of the room. Then she comes back, and then it was like, can I get a hug? I was like, what the heck? What's going on? It was just a bit too hectic for me. And I really felt like, you know, sometimes when people do that, it's kind of like they put you through a range of emotions very quickly. So like, you could see Joy was ready to back off the earrings, kick off the shoes, probably undo that dress and just rock it out. Like, she was not playing. And you saw Jay was like, relax your face, relax your face. I was like, Jay, shush. Like, let the girl's face show the emotion, because my face, guys, I'm pretty chilled. I'm pretty kumbaya. But Lord, if anyone came at me like that on a show, when they are the person who pretty much was in the wrong from the jump, my face is going to be pretty tense. Like, I thought Joy composed herself very well in that situation. Me personally, I'm not giving out hugs just to make you feel better. I don't do that. Like, unless I want to give the hug, then I'll give the hug. But I don't like people who go from 0 to 100, flip this onto me, and then try and do the tears and then come back and get a hug. You've done too much. Like, I just was like, this is hectic. And Jay, let Joy's face show the annoyance, because she was annoyed. And you could see she probably was ready to kind of let this girl have it. But she kept herself cool, calm, and, you know, together. So that was good. But in my opinion, I just felt like, yes, I get it. Symone wanted to feel in some ways vindicated, like she wasn't making up just all the conversations that her and Jay were probably having. But the way in which she came at Joy, I just was like, it didn't, again, show her in a kind of maturer light. I just felt like she could have handled that differently. And I know in the moment we handle things how we handle it. And, you know, we can only apologize after it. But again, I always look for patterns, guys. And if you watch any of my videos, I constantly or often talk about patterns, because when you see patterns in behavior, it's quite telling of that person. And with Symone, we've pretty much seen some patterns in her behavior through this season. And I was a bit disappointed, if I'm being honest, just to see how she came at Joy and then obviously went in for that hug at the end. It was just too hectic too confusing. And for me personally, there would be no hugs, put it that way. So let's see what the comments say. Okay, so guys, sorry. Someone said, Nana says she's got ADHD. So sometimes the way she communicates can be a bit much, but I think she meant well. I agree, Nana. I didn't know she's got ADHD. But I do think that, yes, she does mean well. I do not think actually Symone's intentions, and pretty much anyone's intentions on this show, has been to hurt, harm, or destroy people. I think everyone comes in with their pattern of communicating, their way of responding emotionally and all sorts. So yeah, I agree. I think she did mean well. I agree. She was trying to let the ladies know about Jay's sneakiness. Jay, if you're watching this, we see you. Because I really felt like, you know what, Jay, you let yourself down slightly. I know this was a process where you are allowed to date multiple people and form different connections. But I just think it was a little underhanded, those late night hour stuff. I'm like, all right, I see you. Yep, someone said it was confusing. Someone said Joy is a bit calculating too. Okay, Nana, tell me more. In what way do you think Joy is a bit calculating? Okay. Someone said Symone thrives on drama. Okay, yes. Some people do. They need a little bit of chaos. They need a little bit of the drama to kind of just, feel like they got something else going on sometimes. And for some people, they don't mind being around that. And for other people, it's too much. And I think Joy is just not someone, I didn't get the impression that Joy appreciates that kind of drama and chaos and hecticness. So I think I can see why Joy's face was very tense and not impressed. All right, let me just roll through these and then we are going to move on to someone else. Okay, someone said Jay is a very dirty player. Lord, okay, I'm not playing with these comments. Okay, so Nana Bonsu says Jay used the tragic situation with Joy's sister to exit and ghost Wynter. And these are the dangers, ladies, again, of when we kind of build those connections with a man, but in the dead of night. And some people will say this is like the booty call hours. And if a guy is predominantly trying to have meaningful conversations and time with you only in, or not only, but predominantly in those hours, you do leave yourself open to potentially not building the kind of connection that you are kind of seeking, in all fairness. So yeah, this leaves you pretty at risk. Regina Smalls, let's see what Regina says. Regina Smalls says, let me just find it again, girl. She says, Joy, Jay, oh, it says I can show this. Okay, I don't know if it's showing, guys. Yes, it is showing. Okay. Joy, Jay, and Wynter all served an image. I didn't really get a feel for who they were the entire season. They only gave so much. It could also be editing, but it seemed like they were a bit fake. Okay. So people have different feelings about them. Lara, let's show Lara's comment. Okay, Lara says Symone is an attention seeker. She couldn't handle the fact that she wasn't a hot property among the ladies. This is one of the challenges, guys, I think, when, as Symone said it early, she said she's used to being coveted by men. She's not used to having to almost compete. And I think this is one of the challenges in today's dating market. It's really competitive. And sometimes as a lady, we're all feeling ourselves. I hope everyone's feeling themselves. But it can be a challenge to have to go into this kind of dating market, especially in a show like this, where you've kind of got multiple people in your face, people you're interested in, but also people that same person is interested in, and having to manage all those emotions. For me personally, never. I don't know if any of you on this live would ever do a show like this, but I couldn't. I would just not enjoy that kind of experience for me. And I think if you know that you are someone who definitely kind of likes to, have that one-on-one with someone and not be seeing all the other things they're doing, this is not the right environment or show for you to be on. But I give it up to every single one of them because they did their very best. And I think a lot of them did go in there with the right idea, hopefully, to find some kind of connection with someone. So hats off to them. Let's just roll through. Let me see any other comments. There's so many comments, guys. So if I haven't read yours out, I do apologize. I will do my best to get through some of them. Jaden says, no, I couldn't do a show like this either. I like things in private. How embarrassing. Yes, I think I'm definitely much more of a private person. So this is not a show for people who, are really, and I think a lot of them said they, Joy in particular, I saw an interview of her and she was saying, generally she's quite a private person. So it really is a big, brave move to step out of your comfort zone and actually go on a show like this. So hats off to all of them, to be fair. Okay, Nana, what's Nana got to say now? Nana says, I hope Wynter and Anthony cultivate something genuine off screen. They seem like they can grow together. Okay, let's move on to Anthony and Wynter, guys. All right, are we ready to talk about Anthony and Wynter? Let's talk about Anthony and Wynter because I really feel like Anthony and Wynter... I'm laughing because just like, Lord, where do we begin? Where do we begin? Okay, so who is, all right, drop a number 1 in the comments if you are really feeling like the connection between Anthony and Wynter is genuine and it's really strong. Let me know. Drop a number 1 if you feel like this is a connection that pretty much is going to withstand the test of time. If you feel like this is a true, genuine connection, drop a number 1. Okay, so we have got a number 1 pretty much from La Femme Allure. So La Femme Allure, you are the only one right now dropping number 1s, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. I'm guessing that most of you on this live do not feel like this connection may last the test of time, or it may not be as genuine as we have been led to believe. Okay. All right. Let's go into Anthony and Wynter. I think Anthony is probably the most interesting individual, or one of the most interesting individuals on this show. And I'm going to tell you why. But just before this, because you lot are really filling up this comments box. So let me just see. Pam said Anthony is not marriage material. Okay. What makes him not marriage material, Pam? Tell us in the comments below. What makes Anthony not marriage material? Someone else says Anthony is a non-committal child. Okay, let's get into it. So we know from this season that Anthony is probably one of the most interesting of them all on here. He's 38, I believe, or going on to 39. He has never experienced love. Now, if you're new on my channel and you've not watched this show, it's called Ready to Love, season 3. You can check out some of the videos on my channel. And I have done several on Anthony because I do think he's quite an interesting guy. Anthony has described himself as being someone who has never loved. Now, guys, I've done red flag videos on my channel, and please, guys, head over. You can check out all the signs. But there's some other major red flags when it comes to, I think, adults and us dating. And when people say to us they've never loved, or they've never allowed themselves to get into kind of a commitment with someone where they've allowed love and a serious relationship to develop, and you're near that age of 40, it's not a red flag like you can't go there with them. But I think it's one of those where you need to pump the brakes and just check out what is going on for this person. Because I do feel like for Wynter, she made it really crystal clear that she genuinely often attracts emotionally unavailable men. Now, when someone is giving you that kind of information, I have to pause. When someone is giving you that kind of information and you know your tendency is to attract emotionally unavailable men, and you are saying, I'm trying to break these patterns, to go with a guy who is pretty much saying, I have never loved, I always get to the edge and then I back away, all these kind of things, it really does leave you kind of thinking, wow, I wonder what made Wynter really take that next step with Anthony. Because for me, I almost was like, this is likely. Okay, it's not to say it couldn't work, but I just felt like this is likely to have many, many bumps at the beginning. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think relationships, they're going to come in their different shapes and sizes. But the problem I had was more about Anthony is like taken on a project. Yeah. And I remember Wynter mentioning about the fact that she's very much someone who's like a healer. And I kind of picked up the vibes of like, she likes to fix and help and, you know, really be there for people, you know, and she's an empath. So in some ways, there was a comment she made some weeks back, and she was like, it's my responsibility to help Anthony have his first experience of love, or some comment she made. And I will find it and probably just do a video, because I had a video that I was going to release last week and I didn't, but it was actually on that statement she made. And sometimes when you hear those kind of statements, you know, those are the women, and they come in men, the form of men as well, who are willing to always fix and pick up the person who, you know, has just a lot more stuff going on. And in my opinion, personally, Anthony, I don't think this was just about football, because Anthony might have loved football and he might have put all his attention into football, but he finished playing football many years ago and there's still no woman. There's still no serious relationship. And when his sister came the week before, his sister was like, hey, girl. I wish I could do American accents better, guys, so bear with me. But she was just like, you could see she was grateful to see Wynter and, you know, and a serious, good looking, you know, solid sister. But what she said really alarmed me. She was like, Anthony is super single. And I was like, hold up. Like, I've got brothers. I know when I'm meeting their woman, I'm not trying to, you know, you're not going to, not that you're going to not tell the truth, but she was like, he's like super single. Did anyone else pick up on this? And I was like, okay. And then she started talking about the fact that his long-term relationships don't often lead, they've often led to becoming friendships. And it was just more and more signs of like, this guy probably really does in some ways, you know, struggle. Maybe, okay, guys, I'm not saying he does, but I just got the sense that this guy might really struggle when it comes to relationships and really taking it that next step further, because Anthony is very jovial. He's very like, you know, love to dance and jig up himself and all that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you could see there's just this real resistance from him. Like, no one's going to rush me into a relationship. No, there's a real resistance to the idea of commitment or love, you know. And I just felt like for Wynter at this stage of her life, where she had said she's been divorced, you know, she's trying to avoid being with people who are emotionally unavailable. This was like the biggest emotionally unavailable in some ways. And when we heard, obviously, in the reunion yesterday, the fact that they already had a bump in the road, was anyone surprised? I was like, okay, because with emotionally unavailable people, sometimes what can happen is they enjoy the chase of trying to get that person who is quite emotionally unavailable. And I wondered if this was happening with Wynter, because in some ways there was like, trying to get Anthony to actually take that step to maybe be ready for love and be the one who draws him to the water, you know, come and drink the water of love. She pretty much achieved that. And I feel like that sometimes can be what happens with this whole pattern of emotionally unavailable. It can be sometimes that there's a chase or there's a desire to bring that person there. But actually, once you have them, the kind of interest in them can wane. Like it can. And I'm not saying that Wynter is emotionally unavailable, but sometimes this can be actually a pattern that happens, that people are quite interested in someone. And pretty much once that person takes that next step over that line with them, the interest can just drop off. And I just wondered, what could have happened that was so significant for Wynter to pretty much just dash? Now, I know she said that his tone of voice was, it raised, it went up. And I was literally looking at Anthony like, okay, maybe he shouted. Then he mentioned about there being some issue around finances. And I was like, okay, I wonder if he was defensive about finances, it's likely that this was to do with the fact that the issue often is either that the woman makes more and has to be a further conversation about, what this is going to look like, or it can be the fact that, maybe he doesn't like being questioned about his finances. Maybe the credit score isn't good. Maybe he's in serious amount of debt. Like, it can be all different things that can lead to people becoming quite defensive about their finances. So it's quite interesting to hear, like, okay, one conversation about finances meant the end of their relationship. Like, this is worrying. Like, I get it. Or maybe he just had this kind of anger that she saw. Who knows what it was. But I was quite interested to see that with an emotionally unavailable man in some ways, he and her were already quite quick to kind of part ways so quickly into the beginning of their relationship. And it really made me think about when you are dating people who are a bit older. So these ladies and gents, they're kind of late 30s, 40s. When you've not been in a relationship or a serious relationship, you sometimes don't have some of the key relationship skills that are required. And this is why I always say about like healthy relationships, it does require skills. And sometimes people underestimate that you actually need to sharpen your skills like constantly in a relationship. Sometimes people think, okay, no, it's just, I like this person and that's it. I'm like, no, you need skills. And this is a lot of where people get into kind of a rut because they don't have the skills to withstand the issues. Now, I don't know how many of you on this live are in relationships. Maybe some of you are married. Maybe some of you are engaged. Maybe some of you are single and dating or whatever your relationship stage. But if you've had the experience of relationships, you know that when conflict arises, this is often the point where you see those with more years of experience or those with more, solid relationship skills of knowing how to navigate conflict, they survive. Now, when you have a partner like Anthony, who has a little bit less experience when it comes to relationships, he hasn't really got maybe the skills, or he hasn't developed and sharpened the skills required. And this is one of the things that I was really surprised that Wynter was so like, yeah, Anthony, because I was like, that's a project. Like, I'm not yet their ages, but I'm telling you I would have to really consider getting with a man close to 40 who has not really had the experience of a relationship, especially if I was already divorced, because you've got so many different life experiences and probably skill sets, hopefully, that are a bit more sharpened than him. Now, this could be completely wrong. And maybe it could be the reverse, because it could be, as she said, she didn't listen to him and maybe she needed to approach the thing differently. So it's not a guarantee, but I do think it is sometimes a risk when you leave yourself kind of dating someone who's that inexperienced. It can really be like a lot of work. So if you are going into relationships like that, I pretty much do suggest that you all think about what skills you do have and what skills you might need, because I'm telling you, relationships, like probably all of us know, they're hard work, and they're not hard work in a bad way. They require work. and it's ongoing work. And with Anthony not having that experience, I just felt like this is pretty much going to be a bumpy road. So I was not surprised in some ways that Anthony and Wynter were having a moment. They had a wobble. Do you think they're still going to make it through? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I'm not holding out a lot of hope for them. I felt like Wynter was much more energized and focused on Jay more than, you know, the energy and connection with Anthony. And I could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong, guys, but I came away from that reunion seeing Wynter happier, engaging with Jay. Like, she just looked much more interested in what was going on between that dynamic of the square, as they called it, with Jay, Joy, her, and Symone, than the actual situation with her boothing Anthony. So that's just my thoughts. Let me head over to the comments and see what you lovelies are saying. Regina Smalls. Okay, let's see this comment. Anthony and Wynter do not need to rekindle. His eyes were so scary. They were talking about his passion. Okay. Yeah, the looks I saw going on there, guys, I was pretty much like, damn, Anthony. Anthony didn't come with off like, you know, that soft teddy bear, like jovial, gentle. Like, I saw a different kind of, I felt a different kind of energy coming off of Anthony in this reunion show. Okay, let's see. What was up with Edwin and Naya all hugged up in the corner? Yep. Amiga says, correct, they require work. Yes, they do. Okay, all right. So let's get on to someone else. Who should we go to next, guys? I'm feeling like we should move over to the infamous and wonderful Denise. Now, guys, shall we talk about Denise? Because honestly, I really love Denise. I have loved Denise throughout this season. I think she really made this show. And I think without Denise being on the show, we would have all been a little bit more bored, okay? And not to say all of these participants are boring, but Denise brought some fire. She brought some, she brought a whole lot of stuff. But I really do actually respect the fact that this lady just showed up as herself. And there is so much learning, guys, that we all need. And we're always learning. Like, I'm constantly learning. You ask my fiance, he'll be like, listen, Shern, I'll be acting up sometimes. And we all have our moments. So anything that I share on my channel is always more about like, how can we learn from this? How can we grow from this? All right. So let's talk about Denise, my girl. Okay. So the first thing, let me just check. I'm already laughing because I already know where I'm going. I know where I'm going with Denise. But let's see. How's everyone feeling about Denise? Are you not fans of Denise? If you're a fan of Denise, drop a number 1 in the chat box. Let me know if you are a fan of Denise. Okay. Let's see. Now let me actually change my screen. I'm gonna have to try and do a screen. Who's a fan of Denise, guys? Let's change it to this. Okay. So hopefully, guys, you can see this. Oh, maybe not. Okay. I think I've actually gone mess the screen up. Let me stop the share. You see, when you're trying to do too many things at once, guys, you start having technical difficulties. So I'm going to keep it very simple. For anyone who's new on this channel, we are talking my channel's all about healthy relationships, okay? And Lord knows I have done a lovely journey through life. I have definitely learned a lot of things about relationships and still learning. So my channel is all about sharing tips, tools, advice, and having some chats and discussions about relationships, because I always think like there's so many things in my late 20s that I still did not know about relationships. And I definitely had the experience of making some big mistakes. So as I've learned new things and different things, and I work with families and individuals all about relationships, I pretty much do all of that on YouTube. So if you are new to this channel and you want to subscribe, then hit the subscribe button and we'd love to have you part of our community. Now, let's talk about Denise, because I think we've all been waiting for this one. All right. So I don't know, for some reason, I can't share my screen. So I'm just going to continue. All right. So Denise is an interesting lady, beautiful, great skin, a lovely individual. But in this reunion, did anyone see Denise squirming slightly at the back? I was like, why? As soon as we saw that clip, whereby she started talking about what Joy had told her, you just saw Denise's face was like, I was like, Denise, girl, what did you do? And then we saw what she said. And I was like, why would you say this? Now, for anyone who didn't see the reunion, Denise pretty much, so Joy's sister, unfortunately, passed away during the filming of this season. And Joy had to leave, quite suddenly. And when they were told this information about the death of her sister, Denise somehow managed to communicate to the team or to the group that Joy had told her this message to tell them. But this was not the truth. And the danger of doing this for Denise or any of us, if you ever find yourself wanting to say something on someone's behalf and they haven't actually given you that message, the best thing to do is to frame it in a way that says, listen, I think maybe Joy would have wanted us to continue this process. And maybe Joy would have wanted us to, just hopefully continue and find love and da-da-da-da-da. But she didn't do that. She made it sound like Joy had scribbled a big message saying, hey, let the team know that I want them to carry on fine. It was not good. I was like, what the heck? It was just like, where did this come from? And I think this is the danger, because people then don't trust your word. So this is why it's so important, guys, when you are, trying to communicate something that you think someone is going to say, just tell the truth. Just say, like, I think Joy would have wanted us to carry on, guys, and, just support one another during this process, whatever. But Denise didn't do that. And I'm glad that in some ways Joy called her out on it, because you could see Denise squirming at the back. She knew that whatever she had told Joy after the filming about this comment she made, she didn't give her the full picture. And I think it was really good of Joy just to say, yeah, just you hold up, because that was not correct. And I think in some ways, this is what led to the comments about, narcissism coming up, because people were really upset about Denise doing this. And people then started, in the participants I'm talking about, started saying, listen, she kind of moving semi-narcissistic. And I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. Because you set yourself up when you kind of mislead people. And that is what Denise did. Her intention wasn't to do that, but it did do that, because it left people feeling like Joy obviously communicated a message that she didn't communicate. And you should have made that much more crystal clearer. So now we had this topic of narcissism. Now, guys, if you have been watching this season, narcissism was first brought up by Denise in relation to Rashid. So if you've not watched this series, I would say go right the way back and you will see how this narcissism topic first came up. Now, I thought it would be really good for us to kind of delve a little bit deeper into this topic of narcissism, because for many of us, we have often, in our own opinion, encountered a narcissist. Now, I don't know about everyone on this live, but just drop a comment in the comment box. Just drop a number 1. Okay. Have you, in your opinion, ever encountered someone that you think was a narcissist? Now, guys, if I could definitely drop a number 1, because I have met a few. So I'm going to put my own number 1. Just drop a number 1 if you believe you have actually encountered a narcissist before. Okay. And there are so many people who really do feel like they have actually endured a lot of narcissists. And it's a horrible experience. Now, I felt it was really important for us to just talk a little bit about narcissists today, because Lord knows there are many who are undiagnosed, and most of them are undiagnosed because most of them don't feel like they are a narcissist, nor do they feel like they are a problem. So it's very hard for them to actually go to a doctor and say, hey, listen, you know, I've been feeling like I'm quite egocentric, I'm quite self-absorbed, I'm all about myself. You know, they really don't often walk into a doctor's office and do any of that. So it's really rare. It's normally that you, the other person experiencing them, is normally like, Jesus, this person's a narcissist. So I'm not here to diagnose anyone. I don't even have the qualification to diagnose anyone as a narcissist, but I thought it was a really good topic for us to discuss because this has come up throughout this season. And Denise was the first to talk about Rashid, you know, demonstrating narcissistic traits. And I saw Rashid at this reunion very quickly start to say, yo, listen, is this not narcissistic behavior from Denise? And I was like, oh, Lord, now Denise really done it. So shall we talk about it? Let me go to the comments and let me just see what everyone's saying. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, let's see. Someone says actually what she did was narcissistic and unstable. Okay, so some people do feel like she was giving off some narcissistic vibes. Okay. All right, let's see what some others. Someone says, D says Adriana is narcissistic and manipulating. Now, Adriana has been catching some smoke on social media and YouTube. People, I think a lot of women have not gravitated towards Adriana. But I think next week we'll probably be touching on Adriana. But yes, Adriana has been getting some different vibes. Women are not too keen. Some are and some are not. Okay, let's see. Regina says Denise just gives me TV villain vibes. Okay. Okay. All right. Someone says, yeah, I'm worried. Okay. Someone said I'm worried about Rashid. His skin was way different. Okay. All right. So people feel like Denise was wrong about her comments about Rashid. Okay, so everyone's got kind of different feelings about this comment around narcissists. So I thought it would be really good, guys, for us to just all get on the same page when it comes to narcissists, okay, and what it is, because it's quite a complex little thing. And I think sometimes it can be really easy to almost think someone's a narcissist. And again, I can't diagnose. I definitely believe I've met some narcissists in my time, but there are different types of narcissists. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to highlight here. So let me see if I can make this a bit bigger. So what is it? Let's have a look. I'm going to do my best, guys, to move this slide slightly. Now, already hearing my fiance's had to come and actually, okay, my fiance's had to come and actually help me. So guys, let's just shout him out. Thank God for him. Okay, so what is it? So just so that everyone has a kind of general definition of it, I just thought it would be good for us to have a kind of quote to work from. So narcissistic personality disorder, and it's sometimes known as NPD, is a type of personality disorder, and it's something in which a person normally has an inflated sense of their own importance, okay? So it's a deep need for excessive attention or admiration. They often have difficulties in their relationships, and they commonly tend to lack empathy for others. And behind the mask, they can come across as very confident, okay? But shall I say, on the surface, they can come across as very confident, but behind the mask, they actually have quite a fragile self-esteem, and they're quite vulnerable, and they don't do well with criticism, okay? So I just wanted to kind of touch based on that, because I think sometimes, guys, it's easy for us to be thinking like, oh, okay, this person's a narcissist, but this is just a general. Now, there are different types of narcissists, okay? And I thought today we need to kind of dig deeper, because it's easy to just say, yeah, they're narcissists. And Lord knows, to be diagnosed with NPD, so narcissistic personality disorder, there's 9 traits, and you normally have to, you know, a doctor needs to diagnose you with this. And it has to go in accordance with the DSM, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. All right. So I'm going to just show you the different. I'm going to look at 3 key types. All right. So let me see if I can share my screen. Lord knows. Okay. Hopefully this will share. And we're going to take a look. So there's different types of narcissists. So you've got a grandiose narcissist. You've got a covert narcissist, and sometimes they're known as the vulnerable narcissist. And then you've got the malignant narcissist. Now, there are actually other types of narcissists that are reported to exist, okay? But in this live, I'm only going to touch on these 3, all right? Now, the description I just gave, if you go back to it, this tends to be the description that is given to the grandiose narcissist, all right? So this tends to be someone who has like the inflated sense of self-importance, all right? They're quite superficial often, all right? And they also are very self-absorbed. They seek a lot of admiration, like, oh, I'm just the best at this. Oh, I achieved this. Oh, my business is doing this. They're constantly, you know, sounding the alarm on their own success. They have a chronic need for validation, guys. And I'm not joking, like, you can validate someone and they are needing more. They need to know how good they are, how great they are, how well they've done. It is almost draining. They're quite preoccupied with their self-image and their success. And it tends to be around, it doesn't always, but their success is sometimes more often linked to like monetary success as well. So, okay. They're very charming. They tend to be very charismatic and they appear quite confident. But like we showed you in the quote, behind that confidence is often quite a fragile self-esteem. They don't do well with criticism. They lack empathy. They sometimes have this sense of entitlement, guys. Like, Lord, you know, yeah, they really do. Sometimes people describe them as being quite power hungry, and they pretty much will go out there and get what they want, whether or not that means stepping on toes. And they don't really manage disappointment well. This can actually turn into rage, okay? And when they are criticized or when things do go wrong, they tend to end up kind of blaming others rather than sometimes taking a lot of accountability for their actions, all right? So I'm not saying that this is like, you know, every single thing, but these are some of the common traits when it comes to a grandiose narcissist. Now, why people sometimes struggle with really being able to know if someone's a narcissist. And again, we are not doctors here. We're not diagnosing anyone, because narcissists come in different forms. So I'm now going to show you another type of narcissist that is a covert narcissist, all right? So they're slightly different from the grandiose. And the grandiose narcissist is often the one that we hold in mind. But most narcissists are not always these people, all right? So let's have a look at a covert narcissist. Lord knows. Let me try and share my screen again, guys. If not, I'll have to get my fiancé to come, Lord. Okay, hopefully it's working. Can you all see that? Hopefully. Okay, let me try and actually scoot it over. All right. So a covert narcissist, guys. So a covert narcissist is slightly different from a grandiose narcissist. They're a little bit more undercover. And as you can see, they're a bit more covert. All right. They often feel chronically victimized. They feel like the world owes them something, doesn't see their significance, always, you know, overlooking them. They're quite vulnerable, and they often tend to have a kind of mood state that is quite depressed, or they're quite anxious, or they're very resentful of others. They're just not very happy, okay? They tend to be the people that complain about everything. There's no way that you can satisfy them, all right? They are never satisfied. Even when something good is happening in their life, they find a way to find something to look on the downside about it, or they just find something to nitpick at or criticize. They're always in some type of problem or argument with someone about something. They're quite toxic. It's really difficult to be around them. And the thing is, their behavior can be quite subtle, but what they tend to do is they kind of gravitate to people who are quite compassionate and empathetic. And this is how they always suck the life, guys, from these people, because these people are quite empathetic. So they're going to always try and like make them feel better, and they'll give them lots of validation. And this is when the covert narcissist will literally suck and leech off them. It is intense being around these covert narcissists. Now, they are, again, deeply self-absorbed. They need a lot of praise, recognition, and attention. Now, can you imagine? They're quite depressed people. They're quite anxious. So even when you try to be around them and you try to lift them up, you're constantly doing it, and there's still no change in their mood. It's really quite a difficult person sometimes to be around. They, again, lack empathy. They seek validation constantly, and they are actually quite passive aggressive. Now, guys, if you've come across a covert narcissist, they're the type of person who they're very much like, they've got a backhanded comment to say. They don't know how to really praise genuinely. They'll kind of do it in an indirect, like, oh, that was really good, but you could have done it this way. Like, they've always got something to say. They often are the people who can kind of put people down, leave you feeling a little bit less than. They use a lot of blame and shame, guys. And sometimes people talk about covert narcissists as parents. People often sometimes describe their first encounter of a covert narcissist, once they start learning about this, being their actual parent. So it's quite a different type of narcissist, but there are some key similar themes that run through from the grandiose to the covert. Now, these people tend to be not that emotionally accessible, all right? So oftentimes they're quite like, you don't get much from them. They just seem to be very unable to meet your emotional needs and connect with you on that emotional level. They're kind of cold. They're very distant emotionally. So you kind of are always wanting a bit more of that emotional connection, but they just don't seem to be able to give it to you. And sometimes what these people do is they love something called triangulation, and they love to create a bit of confusion when they're communicating. And now it has you now in a kind of second guessing yourself. And then there's just a whole host of miscommunication. It's a hot mess, basically, when you're dealing with them. All right. So I hope that kind of just gives you a quick synopsis of a covert narcissist. Now, again, we're not here to diagnose. I just thought it would be good for us to kind of dig a bit deeper into narcissism and what we're talking about, because I think when what's her name? When Denise was talking about Rashid, I think she was more leaning to the typical idea of the grandiose narcissist in association with him. And again, it's not saying that he is a narcissist, not at all. But I think that's what she had in mind. Whereas when they were talking about actually Denise, it would be quite interesting to see what one they would be thinking she was, okay? So let's touch on the third narcissist that we want to look at tonight. So the third narcissist, I would say, guys, is pretty dangerous, all right? And I'm not joking when I say this. I'm saying this with all honesty. If you have met this narcissist, you probably are not trying to encounter them ever again in your lifetime. Let me just see if I can actually change the slide. Let me just see. I'm going to have to call. Okay, so let me see if I can change this slide. Thank God for him. Oh, let's see. Can I? Okay, yes. Okay, we're talking about a malignant narcissist, okay? Now, this is an individual that, Lord, we need to pray now that you don't buck up on this person. They are dangerous. I just say it like, I believe I have experienced and encountered one, and they can be really dangerous. Some people describe it as them having quite a sadistic streak. And they enjoy almost seeing you in pain or in distress or in heartbreak. Like, for them, they actually get something from it. They are quite highly unstable in their behavior. Okay, so they often lash out. They have fits of rage, almost like a toddler who hasn't learned to manage their emotions. These people, from 0 to 100, can suddenly start breaking things, kicking things. They really struggle with their emotional regulation, all right? And they can fly off the handle at the slightest thing. So sometimes being around them, you're kind of hesitant because you're not even trying to see that kind of, sometimes we're like, oh, he got angry or she got angry. No. This is rage, guys. I'm talking about rage. So oftentimes they will blame you for their own bad behavior. So they're really good at projecting. They're really good at making you feel guilty for something that they did. All right. They can become really aggressive, extremely aggressive, especially if they feel threatened or they even feel like you are going to expose them to others. All right. They are very protective of their sort of grandiose self-importance, and they don't want their image being played with out there. So even though they might be doing you harm, messing up your life, you need to keep it pretty much 100 silence, because if you try and creep out there and destroy the image that they've painted of themselves, they will come for you. They are very dangerous, guys. Okay. Now, they don't handle criticism well. They lack empathy. They are extremely manipulative. They take advantage of others. These are people who you do not want to buck up on. I'm telling you guys. And what they do is they really seek to win at all costs. They will go all out to destroy you if they have to, because they are not trying to lose at anything. They're not trying to lose face. They're not trying to lose their sense of success. Nothing. They are willing to take you out. So I just thought it was really, really important just to actually touch on some of these tonight, because I just wanted to show us or us to really discuss the gravity of narcissism. It looks very different. And this is why sometimes when people have experienced a narcissist, when other people kind of are seeing that behavior or kind of trying to make sense of why you think that person's a narcissist, sometimes it doesn't look like they're a narcissist on the surface, because maybe they're a covert narcissist. Maybe they are subtly doing it in subtle ways that the majority of people don't recognize. Or maybe they're even slightly a malignant narcissist, where they have such a good exterior, but they have got some real sadistic streak. And this is why so many people, when they go through narcissistic abuse, they don't even talk about it sometimes, because you feel like you're the mad one when you're enduring these people with their range of emotions and behaviors. So I just thought it was really, really good just for us to kind of get a bit of a deeper understanding of the different types of narcissists. And guys, if you are on my channel, I will be digging deeper into narcissism, because I think it is prevalent in today's society. I actually feel like there are so many people who are experiencing narcissists. And I'm not here to say if Denise is one or anyone is one. We can't say that. We're not here to diagnose or say anything. But I do think it comes up time and time again, because people experience these traits of individuals. And there are many of us who may sometimes demonstrate a trait that kind of feels like, oh, you're very superficial. But that doesn't make you a narcissist. But it's almost like a consistency of several traits all in one that really does start to make people feel like, now that individual, they're different. And that's where people start to band this word around narcissism. So I do feel like with Denise this week, she just kind of put her foot in it. It was not the right thing to do. It was very misleading, and it didn't really show her in a good light. I think people came away thinking, what is up with Denise? Why does she have to say something or do something? And again, I genuinely don't feel her intention was to, take the limelight. I didn't come away thinking she needed the limelight. She was stealing the limelight in that moment. I actually do think she probably genuinely just wanted to, offer the group something, but it was completely wrong in how she went about it. And it was very misleading. And it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens next week. Now, did anyone pick up? Let me just go to the comments. Because I know I just did a whole lot of talking about it. So let's see. Okay, guys, so let's go to the comments. Yeah, someone said there's a high chance of people being narcissistic going on a reality show. Yes, that has been actually said. Sometimes actually there are a lot of people who have said actually narcissists do enjoy that kind of thing. Okay, so Regina again says she does not think no one was ready to love, maybe besides Rashid and Chris. Okay, so they were the only two that saw what they wanted and was true to it till the end. Yeah, I think, you know what, Rashid is a good guy. And I think Chris is another good guy. So it is unfortunate in some ways that Rashid almost overrid his own gut instinct. And I did a video this week on gut instincts and why you should actually follow it, because I think he got that gut instinct telling him, do not go any more steps further with Adriana. And you see what a wink and a little smile and a pretty little face can do. You will override your gut instinct and find yourself actually staying in the process when this person has checked out and obviously connected with another guy. So if you've not seen that video, check it out. I've done a video on gut instinct. Let's see what else. Yeah, Rashid and Chris. A lot of people feel like Rashid and Chris were definitely ready to love. Let's see. Thank you for this breakdown. You are welcome. Okay. Someone said Black Lives Matter. Black lives do matter. Ellie, thank you for that. Yes, Black lives do matter. I know are a lot of you in the US right now. There is so much happening in the States, but I'm going to keep it on topic today because Lord knows we'll be here for another whole 2 hours if I get started on what's going down. Jaden says, Sherna, you should invite Dr. Ramani as a guest. She's amazing. Yes. If you've not checked out her YouTube channel, there is a lady called Dr. Ramani. She specializes in narcissistic personality disorder. She has done so many videos that you can check out there. If you want more information, I would love to have Dr. Ramani on my show as a guest. So if anyone has the hookup, let me know. You can email me at hello@shernasquire.com. If you want to send an email, if you want to maybe, guys, let me know your thoughts. It's my first live, guys, on YouTube. And I was thinking, do you want me to do a few more lives? Would it be helpful? How have you found this live today? And should I do a live next week for part 2 of the reunion? Post a comment below. Let's check this out. Corinne in London. Shout out to Corinne in London. We've got a Londoner on the live stream. Yay. And we've got Shadia. I hope I'm saying it correct. Shadia Ahmed from Canada. Lovely to have you on tonight. Nana says, yes, more lives. Okay, guys. So people say, yes, more lives. Okay, lives are good. Okay, guys. All right, I'm going to try and do another live next week. I'll probably do it the same time next week. There was something I wanted to say, guys. Did anyone see that at the end, when they did like a little teaser of what what's his name? Kalfani, King K. When they did a little teaser of Kalfani, he said that he had a letter on his door when he got home. Now, guys, I'm already laughing because I'm like, I already started doing my prayers. As I watched the episode this morning, I was like, Denise, I'm praying that that letter has nothing to do with you. Like, I literally was like, I am praying that this letter is just nothing to do with Denise. So if anyone else heard this and was thinking the same thing, like, I hope it's something to do with Adriana or somebody else. But when I heard them say a letter on his door, and I was thinking, why would they mention this? And I'm just like, I hope it's nothing to do with our girl Denise. So yeah, let's hope. Someone said, Jaden said, yeah, for sure. Denise. I'm hoping it's not. I was just like, please, no more madness, no more playing games. Regina from DC, Washington. Oh, it's so nice. DC, what? Listen, I'm not even doing politics tonight, guys. That is for a whole nother show. Lovely to have you here, Regina from DC. Let me know, guys, where you are all from. Have we got any more Londoners? Any more people from the States? Where are you all from? Oh, Lara, watching from Amsterdam. Oh my God, nice. Chai, you're in Canada. Jaden, guys, is in Serbia. No. Oh my God. Okay. So we got Serbia in the house. Cool. But you're originally from Canada. Nice. We've got Korea in the house. Listen, this is good. This is international, guys. I'm enjoying. Lovely to have you all here today. All right. So yeah, next week, I'm just like, we've got Miami. Okay. I'm really happy you are here. You have just been all of you to take part in this today has been just wonderful. You have kept it lively in the chats. We got Florida, we got Georgia in the house. We got South London. Lara is a South Londoner. Guys, I'm so biased. I'm a Southeast Londoner, born and bred. Honestly, if I meet anyone from London, let alone Southeast London, I'm like, hey, let's be friends. So yeah, nice to have you here, Laura. We've got the Netherlands in the house. Let's shout out the Netherlands. Oh, how nice. Okay, guys. So as you've all said yes to another live, I will be back next week. And I think we will do a part 2. I'm definitely going to be releasing some more videos, guys, on narcissism. I get emails from some of you. I get comments from a lot of you asking for more videos on narcissistic abuse, especially if you've gone through it and you're coming out of it and you're trying to find love. It is a challenge at times to learn how to trust people again and how to read red flags and how to address them in the here and now. I have already got some videos on narcissistic abuse on my channel. I'll be releasing some more videos going over what we've touched on today and in more depth, because you know, guys, I like to go a little bit deeper just so that we can all be learning as we are enjoying. Okay. So guys, is there anything that you lot want to shout out before I head off this live? Someone said, don't forget to like this video. Thank you, Nana. I appreciate it, guys. If you can drop a like on this video, it would be wonderful. I have really enjoyed myself tonight, and I'm glad that we managed to get through this live with as little technical difficulties. I need to do a big shout out to my fiance. He is the best, and we would not be here tonight, guys, without him. So we have to thank God for him, because he has been behind the scenes making sure that this all works, and I really do appreciate you. So thank you, babe. And yeah, let me just do the last comments. We got Toronto in the house. How nice. Mimi from Canada. I see you, girl. We have got, who else? Laverne is in JA. Now, guys, JA is my second home. My mummy and daddy are from Jamaica, so I am all about Jamaica. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we've got Laverne in the house. So nice to have you here. Great. All right, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much, each and every one of you who've joined me tonight on my first live. And I've had great fun. So look out for this week's videos. We're going to go deeper into narcissism. And we're also going to be releasing some other videos that might be a surprise, because we are looking at some other shows, guys. And I have got my eye on something quite good for us. So keep a lookout for this week's videos. And I want to just say, take care, God bless, and stay safe. This is COVID time, so please look after yourselves. All right, guys. Bye. Oh, we've got a last shout out. The Truth from Chicago. I just thought you the last one, so I want to shout out as many of you as possible today. Thank you very much. Take care and stay safe. Bye, guys.